Yes, Ms. Hany Soh.
Mr. Speaker, it is uplifting to learn that several of the schemes and support packages introduced in this year's budget will go a long way towards softening the impact of rising costs for Singaporeans, particularly the lower income group. However, while the government provides direct monetary aid to our citizens, I believe that we can go even further by ensuring that all Singaporeans have the knowledge and the tools to become financially self-sustainable. As the saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. One suggestion is that various ministries should consider working with the people's associations to organize financial literacy workshops in a community. These workshops would cover essential topics such as budgeting for necessities, planning for big-ticket item purchases, and the basics of investing, which can also include sharing of useful tips on scam prevention. We can also pair these workshops along with estate planning and law awareness talks, which is also an extension of managing household finances. The law awareness talks should involve multiple agencies, including the Office of Public Guardian, CPF Board, and the Ministry of Law, to work hand in hand together with the Law Society of Singapore. In conjunction with the talks covering estate planning, the Ministry of Law can consider a further waiver of the $50 wills registration fees currently chargeable by its Singapore Academy of Law, while encouraging interagencies to work closely together to promote the use of Smart Nation's My Legacy portal for comprehensive estate planning services on matters such as CPF nominations, advanced medical directives, lasting power attorney, and wills. In terms of investing on our children, another area which I hope we can consider is to defray the costs of preschool and after-school care services, such as exempting the GST for these monthly expenses. This would be a welcome relief for parents, especially single parents, and families with special needs children, as this pandemic has caused many of our little ones to miss school for extended period of times without compensation. On the same note, I also hope that more support can be provided to families with autistic children. During the course of my thematic e-town halls, which focuses on embracing parenthood, as well as my regular house visits, several of my residents with autistic children have shared with me that notwithstanding the fact that they belong to the middle income group, they find themselves financially stretched due to the costs incurred for signing up their children into the early intervention programs and speech therapy sessions, coupled with the expenses incurred by them every month for enrolling their children in kindergarten or childcare centre. And all of these expenses are subject to GST. Lastly, we can further reduce our collective upkeep and progress towards our SG Green Plan 2030 goal by encouraging Singaporeans to practice not just the 3 Rs, but the full 5 Rs. 1. To reduce consumption of resources unless necessary. 2. To reduce consumption of resources such as water, electricity, and food. 3. To repair repairable items such as electrical and electronic appliances. 4. To reuse used items for different purposes, such as using reusable bags, bottles, or food containers. And 5. To segregate recyclable items and place them into recycling bins. These 5 Rs will not just enable us as a community to work towards our SG Green Plan 2030, but will also help fellow Singaporeans to reduce their day-to-day expenses. To that end, the government can contribute towards improving the software and the hardware. In terms of the software, a few of my suggestions include setting up workshops in a community, sharing useful tips to practice the 5 Rs, and to empower our residents with the knowledge to conserve water and energy, as well as to reduce the food waste. One example would be the Singapore Institute of Building Limited, SIBL's ongoing SG Eco Fund project in Woodgrove, aimed at raising awareness on environmental issues and encouraging more residents to adopt an eco-friendly lifestyle through community and education programs, sustainable markets, and an app with interactive games. Another suggestions will be in relation to developing new TV programs to educate our younger generations about the 5 Rs in an engaging manner. Captain Green, an iconic green frog mascot, was first introduced in the 1990s to encourage Singaporeans to adopt a clean and green lifestyle. In recent years, Captain Green was ventured into storybooks and quick teach cards used in preschools to inculcate our children with the habit of taking responsibility of their actions and to reflect on their choices towards a clean and green environment. I believe these teachings can be further enhanced through a collaborations with MediaCorp to introduce a cartoon series involving mascots like Captain Green, Water Wally, as well as the recently launched Blue Bin, using rhythmic content akin to the popular Baby Shark songs to attract our children and to encourage them to be our young, budding green champions. To tackle the hardware part of the equation, quite a number of my Woodgrove residents have expressed during our regular Green Living Sustainability dialogues that the present design of the blue recycle bins poses many challenges for the community to recycle effectively. While we note that NEA has been stepping up efforts to educate the public on how to recycle correctly, all we need is one irresponsible user to deposit food waste into the blue recycling bins to cause the rest of the recyclable items in the bin to be fully contaminated and attract rodents unnecessarily. We should therefore not merely provide one bulk container for people to dispose all types of recyclables and waste. There needs to be more innovative solutions to encourage or incentivize single-type recyclables, such as having one specifically or specially for batteries, or plastic bottles, or paper, or cans, and so on. In relation to the energy and water saving component, the HDB can assist by considering green features in future housing projects and upgrading existing ones through home improvement program, such as adopting sustainable materials and designs. Many of our existing HDB flats incorporate full glass windows that emit a considerable amount of heat during the late afternoon. As an example, HDB can consider installing low heat transfer windows, such as double glazed windows, as a solution. Finding a suitable greener alternatives that help cool down our HDB flats will translate to less reliance on fan and air conditioning, indirectly contributing towards reducing residents' utility bills costs every month. Mr. Speaker, kindly allow me to conclude in Mandarin, please. 这次的财政预算案，政府听取了民生，延迟消费税上涨，同时也推出了几项援助配套，这为许多因冠状疫情目前生计已受到影响的国人打了个定心剂，缓解他们所面对的生活负担。持续的援助，例如主屋杂费回扣、消费税补助券等，也将继续帮助人民应对接下来因通货膨胀而上涨的开销。虽然这些援助配套津贴良多，但每户家庭的反应其实不一。就拿先前政府所分发给每户家庭的100元社区发展邻里购物券来说，低收入家庭的居民有些向我表示对政府的感激，有些则对我说希望政府可以再给多一些。以长远来说，我们不该过度依赖政府的援助来维持生计，而是应该慎重着手为将来规划，如何打好我们各自的经济基础，成家立业、生老病死，在面临这些 人生不同阶段时，肯定会带给大家较为繁重的经济负担。因此，我希望政府能够在国人踏入这些阶段之前，安排专人给予指导，他们如何做财务规划。正如我国的储备金一样，如提早规划、妥善管理财务与开销，我们将未雨绸缪，以应变不时之需。议长先生，我支持今年的财政预算案。